Here, there, quick impression for you. Caw, bang, fuck, I'm dead. Oh, come now, Ronan. Why so serious? Let's put a smile on that face. You know, why don't you tell the boys and girls about that time you tried to use gymnastics to prove why it's really, really important to double glaze? That one always gets a titter. Nah, nothing. You miserable bastard. Okay. Yes, I may have drunk a little bit of, Relentless in the interim between the last part and this one. What of it? The world of good. It reminded me of the energy I need to get through the rest of this game. Because I admit, I cheated slightly. I looked ahead. It's not exactly if there's any puzzles in this game after all. I looked ahead briefly to see how much I actually had left to do. I am more or less at the end of the game at this point. I think I've got one more puzzle section to solve, and then I'm basically into what is rather optimistically dubbed the final fight. Considering there hasn't really been any combat at all in this, unless you count hiding from these increasingly lackluster advertisements for discount knitwear, I don't really see how there's going to be any fighting involved. I have a feeling this being perhaps not a Square game, but a Square produced game. That by climactic final battle, what they actually mean is there's going to be a very long cutscene in which I will occasionally be required to push a button. That's my prognosis. You know, it's much easier if there's like ghostly wildebeest roaming around. Trick one of them into charging the demons. Seems like it'd be more effective than just crows every goddamn where. I still don't get why crows are the only dead birds. I mean, perhaps they're not dead, perhaps it is supposed to be working on the old metaphor of crows ferrying the souls of the lost to the land of the dead and all that. If you're going to go with that metaphor, surely there should have been an entire flock of the damn things around Ronan when he first carked it. You know, a flight of crows being referred to as a murder and all that. At least in England. I don't know if there's any differences for different parts of the world, actually. Again, I don't know if that's true for any other grouping of animal, whether it's all standardised. I don't expect it would be, in this day and age, but I don't know. Right, your ass is grass, son. Right. Well, the other one's busy expecting the exhibits. That's right, your friend was too busy playing amateur tour guide to pay attention to the fact I was murdering you. Didn't notice at all. Like a ninja. Like a ninja that can pass through solid objects, which takes away all of the challenge. All of the challenge. In addition to the fact I can actually see through solid walls as well, without actually having to poke my head out. Which again, takes out a lot of the challenge. I can kill these things without ever having to go anywhere near them. You know, figure out their job routes and such, I mean. Just think about how much more challenging would it be if you could hear them, rumbling and screeching to themselves. But you couldn't do this whole seeing through walls nonsense. You had to actually poke your face through and risk getting a face full of demon. If there was some actual stakes to this, Yes, they were. The additional problem I find is, because it's never really specified exactly what happens, other than maybe becoming a demon himself if Ronan doesn't, figure this out post-haste, it's hard to get any investment. I mean, as long as he keeps, a clear mind of what he needs to do, Ronan literally has all the time in the world to figure this out. There is no rush at all. At least, as things have been described. We have no time frame on what, how long you could hang around for becoming a demon. I mean, take a look at, what's her face? Ponytail chick. I mean, she's been lurking around for, what? Is the 1500s or so? Actually, no, probably 1700s. The point is, she's been around a while. Can't remember what the time frame is for the colonies. I'm sure one of you American underclasses can let me know. But yeah, she's been around a hell of a time and well, she might have got mad, but she's not a demon just yet, so... Not exactly in a rush is what I'm saying. There's no real sense of threat, especially not from these bloody things. I mean, look at this. The fact that I'm the only ghost in the entire world that can see through walls without having to poke my face through. Like, yeah, they got a glowy eye, which means they're looking in this general direction, but as long as the solid object is between you and them, they can't do jack. Which again, takes away a lot of their threat. The problem I had, well, one of the many problems I had with like stuff like detective vision in the Batman games. I like the idea of you analysing your environment. When that analysis tool also comes into a one-shot, how can I even phrase this? Boys, it gives you too much information. Any game that employs stealth mechanics should have an element of risk. Say, you could go do XYZ and find out more about your environment, but there is a chance you will be spotted. And being spotted is a bad thing. At least it's supposed to be when you're playing a stealth game, anyhow. Admittedly in this game, and admittedly in the Batman games as well, it's more of an annoyance than anything else, for different reasons. In this game, it requires a lot of running around to go back into stealth mode. In the Batman games, it's just a lot of time spent repeatedly tapping triangle and or square.
I should have been the one that stopped you.
Yeah, Baxter got skull fucked.
Ronan?
Aye aye.
What the hell's
Look
going
who's
on?
here.
Sick bastard. Why'd you do it? Why'd you bring back the witch trials and kill all those innocent girls?
You always had an eye for the
You think
ladies.
I'm the Bell Killer? Are you insane? I've never killed anyone.
You're right, I'm not seeing things clearly.
What is this place? We gotta get out of here.
Oh, we gotta get out of here. All of a sudden, we're buds. You need to tell me what's going on here.
Questions, questions, questions.
What were you doing here?
Following a lead. I never dropped the case. Had this psychic, Cassandra, working with me. And we figured out the Bell Killer is hunting mediums. Like a witch trial execution copycat. At that point, we couldn't let it go.
Seriously?
Even
No one
after
noticed the
arresting
witch trial
Logan.
theme? All these people who live in
that's why
Salem?
you're at the
No one
museum.
noticed this at all? My god.
So, who killed you?
The Bell Killer, you idiot. But I didn't get a good look at his face.
Of course not. He always wears a mask.
Where's the killer?
No idea. He could be anywhere. But when we fought, he said something I didn't understand at all.
Wait,
I shouldn't be too tough.
the killer actually talked?
Not much, but I think I hit a nerve. I told that bastard he'd be dead soon, but he said, I already know death. And then something about his instrument of death will kill again tonight.
My instrument of death.
He
But
plans
kills
to beat a
different
man
ways
to
every
death with an
time. I
oboe.
don't get it.
Yeah.
Perhaps a clarinet.
Me neither.
That'd be an embarrassing way to do
Gotta
that.
figure
Death
out
by
what
clarinet.
that means.
Probably kill someone with a tuba quite easily.
Do you know where Cassandra
Perhaps even
is?
with a trombone
Is she
if
still
you
alive?
use it near a ledge.
Last I checked, yeah. I took her to a safe house outside of town.
Perhaps I'm being too literal.
Oh my god, she's alive. I was sure she'd be dead too. Joy would be freaking ecstatic. She shouldn't end up alone. Cassandra ever bring up her daughter?
Wouldn't shut up about her. We looked for Joy for days, but it was too risky. Cassandra has been begging me to track Joy down, but I haven't found her yet.
You're not gonna believe this. Joy's been helping me tonight.
Figures a cop like you would need help to get this far.
You mean like what? The help you got from her mom?
Oh, snap!
You get back to Cassandra. Make sure she's still
Yeah,
safe.
it's not time to have a
Bring her
dicking
back
match.
to the station.
You both got killed by the same guy after all.
I'm gonna quickly check out the cellar and come up with a plan.
I should point out, Baxter, I found out all of this in the space of a night, while being dead. Your investigation's been going on for how many years? You found piss all? Haha! Teabag the corpse. Because why not, really? Why not? There's probably many moral and ethical reasons not to, I mean, practical reasons. Reasons I'd actually give a damn about, you know? As I don't give a damn about ethics and morals for anyone listening from the Geneva Convention.
What the hell happened down here?
Sunshine and lollipops. Just really throw you for a loop. Hey, look, it's the Colonel. This way for finger-licking chicken.
You claim righteousness, but you know your guilt and cannot deny your punishment is due.
I deny it all. You can't prove a thing. You say righteous, I say sanctimonious. Let's call the whole thing off. Yep.
You stood for justice. How is this just?
You made a lot of false accusations that got people murdered. Now you're being punished for it. I'd say it's quite delayed justice. Perhaps the only person in the cell? He was a detective, don't you know? Okay. It was made to hold Houdini. Obviously. He was the Bell Killer. It all makes a terrifying kind of a sense now. I'd like to be able to look at the... There we go. There's a secret compartment with a corpse in it that apparently Ronan has no interest in whatsoever. All these things that are of interest. Secret room with a corpse. Not a peep. Not a peep. So glad you're on the case, Ronan. So glad. Oop. Money don't grow on trees. Got mouths to pay, bills to feed. Or something like that, anyway. Ah, dear, dear. What else we got then? Oop. Something hidden atop here. Candles. Yeah, that's an important clue, Ronan. I'm so glad you noticed that. Well done. Okay, got all 7. I actually need them, but we got them. Angry Man, the imprisoned Abigail. Cage, maybe? Nope, that was wrong. Oh, it really, really annoys me they boot you out of the screen every time it does that. Yeah, okay. That should have been obvious, come to think of it.
You claim righteousness.
All the clues
know
you need
your
to put
guilt
together tend to be in the
and
same
cannot
general area
deny
as well.
your punishment is due.
I thought you stood for justice. How is this just?
The courts are not a place for your murderous whimsy. You are a corrupt heathen. The families of those innocent souls you executed through false accusation of witchcraft will exact their righteous justice tonight.
False accusation?
What is that nonsense you draw?
My mark will burn like a brand in the flesh of this town. It takes me to the ends of eternity. I will personally make the bell toll for every witch in Salem.
Huh.
The guy who killed me is Abigail.
Nah, you got beaten up and killed by a little girl.
She might be the best.
That's kind of appropriate for you, Ronan.
How is that possible? I gotta get out of here and figure out how to track her down.
You do that. I see in transition. Seriously. Want me to walk all the way back through the house from start to finish again? Like balls was I doing that? Like I've said before, it's a Square game, so it makes a sort of a narrative kind of a sense for this entire thing to more or less be one giant cutscene. In my defense. Ending where it all began, at the museum.
No one
Very well,
should be
Dr.
murdered.
Jones.
And when the psycho trying to kill someone pretends there's some grand justice behind it, that just makes it all the more twisted.
You know what's really twisted? Having subtitles that appear for 0.5 of a second, and a monologue that lasts for at least 6. Oh no. The ooze! Not a Ninja Turtle in sight. That's actually probably a good thing. Considering this is all CGI, if it were they'd be headed by Michael Bay. It'd probably unnecessary hip thrusting and crude dick, for weapon metaphors.
Joy!
Ronan, help!
Not another step.
Fat Jake Gyllenhaal!
Oh, not you, Rex.
I knew you all along.
Abigail. Oh, but it does.
No one can rise that high in the police force eating that many pies.
We have executed the witches
collapsed
who
under the weight.
corrupt our fair city. Those who try to mask their demonic contract and leverage powers they should never possess.
Just like you have.
Don't you dare compare me to her!
You really made that argument? You're literally possessing a man and forcing him to do murders.
Don't do anything stupid.
That's kind of an unnatural power, no matter how you look at it.
Hands up! Do it now!
That's gonna only end well.
Abigail, stop!
See, why can't I do this shit? Why can I not do this? This is the game mechanic I should have.
Rex, you piece of shit. What are you doing?
No, should probably move.
This was you.
So we got possession, teleportation, summoning hell portals. You ain't the master, you can't pull this shit off.
Hold tight, kid. I'm on my way.
Yep, you literally summoned just the one portal. This ain't exactly difficult at this point, you know. Go on, composite. Aha! What can stop Abigail? What we repeatedly bashed over the head with can defend ghosts. Could it be the Banshee's Wail? I do believe it is. Sorry, this place is no longer for rent. Get out. That's a new love for you, by the way, Ronan. Inside her while she's being joked. Always knew you were a bad one. What? You ain't got shit, Squire. That's wrong. Okay? Ah, right, okay. Just push buttons to win, I was right. Watch the cutscene, goddammit. Push the occasional button. The timer was kind of unnecessary, all considered.
Time is upon us, Abigail Williams.
It's like a desperate attempt to inject tension into the scene.
Scourge of Salem, it is time to pay for your sins.
This can't be happening. You want to use memories against me? Two can play at that game.
I know the truth about your death, but I still don't know the truth about mine.
It's kind of not going to work there, kiddo. He wants to know about his death. You're trying to avoid memories of yours.
Use Rex to kill me.
Rex was my most influential. The most respected, the most feared official in town. Of course I did.
No, he didn't say did you use Rex, he said why did you. Some bad syntax right there.
How could Rex have done it? Rose's killer had blue eyes.
I didn't use the same killer for every murder.
Baxter.
Well, ain't this inconvenient? The entire police force happens to be murderers.
Eventually kill all the killers I use.
Here, Ronan 40 was special.
Especially the ones who get close to the truth.
What truth? You're a 17th century ghost girl possessing people to commit murders. Who in the world is going to believe these people even if they find out?
I wasn't one of your killers. Why did I have to die?
Ah. Yeah, I think I see where this is going. Yep, there it is. Okay, that is a nice twist. That explains Sophia's freak out when she saw us. She recognized us as the one who killed her.
No. I wouldn't.
She possessed you, dumbass. That's kind of the deal.
No.
Think speaking, you didn't.
No, I wouldn't. How could I?
Still annoyed that, we can't do that ourselves.
You
Those
made
people.
me kill her.
You guys ever play Geist for the GameCube? That's the kind of game I was expecting here. I'm still kind of annoyed that that's not what we actually got. Move, dumbass! What?
If I'm going out, you're coming with me.
Oh, the double kill ending, huh? Guess that's an option. Not what I was hoping for, but yeah, it's definitely an option. What's the matter there, kiddo? Do ya need a hand? Yeah, we just went there. That's the last thing she ever heard. Ain't that depressing for all concerned? Oh, my legs are gone. You know, more so than usual, I mean. Now see, that would be interesting if I could actually if I could lose body parts and stuff as a ghost. You know, through miscontact with various things, but nope, they're already back. Okay. All threat and whatnot completely averted. Huge anticlimax ahoy.
We all got a dark side, sometimes obvious.
Yeah, that
Sometimes
wasn't satisfying at all.
If we're lucky.
It doesn't help that Ronan spent so much time, you know, antagonistic towards the chick as well, so
By law, Rex was a killer.
you don't buy him actually caring that much.
Law doesn't always see the truth. Fortunately, Joy did. And she would never press charges. She might even help Rex cover his tracks.
So we're just covering up the murders?
Certain.
No one else gets any kind of resolution or peace from all
She's a
this?
better person than I was at that age. A kid who deserves forgiveness. She's paid her dues. And committing a few small crimes, searching for your mom, well, even the coldest cops would forgive those.
Mom!
Let's count Joy's crime, shall we? We've got the various
Hasn't been a
breaking
Bell Killer
entry,
murder
we've got
since the
the
night Abigail
release,
met Final
the
End.
legal release of a sanctioned mental
Case
patient
never
who later
officially
turned up
closed.
dead at Joy's place of residence.
Memories fade. Time
Small
heals.
crime? Don't think so.
With luck,
At least she's gonna get away
they'll
scot-free with it.
move
'Cause, you know,
on and find peace.
what's Rex gonna do? Imagine trying to convict her for anything from this point onwards?
Death repays debts, my father always said.
He's got the ultimate get-out-of-jail-free card.
But truth be told, this life ain't over until you're honest about what you owe.
He basically done this in one night. Is that what's supposed to be
Set
intimating here? The
everything
fact the
right.
blood's still there and everything?
Settle your debts.
But seriously, in your face, Baxter, in that
and
case.
Then
In your face!
move on.
Ronan?
Oh, you did not just try to do the Eric Draven, the Crow ending there, did you? You did try. It failed, because, you know, Ronan's an ass that nobody likes, but even so. Right, so what can we say about that, boys and girls? I've been very disappointed in this game. I was expecting something much more like Geist. So you'd be going around as a ghost, piecing together clues about some sort of shady organisation or some such that, you know, wanted you dead and out of the way so they could, you know, perhaps even something to do with, you know, Ronan's checkered past, you know, associated with his father's or a rival crime family, something like that. Throwing Ronan out of the way, so no one in the police force would have the necessary connections to notice what they were planning. Then you'd have like a big final showdown of Ronan in his ghost form, using his various ghostly powers to basically drive his enemy to suicide or to confession, depending on how you played. That sort of thing. Perhaps your rival would even figure out what was going on and employ some sort of, you know, occult stuff to enable you to have an actual physical showdown or some such. That's the kind of thing I was expecting. So the clue gathering was ultimately rather pointless. Very few of the clues actually meant anything. It was impossible to get your conclusions wrong in any fashion, because the game literally forced you to find the right clues. A lot of the clues that were supposed to be connected were found right next to each other, while there were various other crap just scattered around the room as essentially filler text. Yeah, the puzzle mechanic was non-existent. I had a lot of issues with that whole find the sound thing, especially that one thing with the key where it was absolutely completely unnecessary. Because you already knew exactly what you were looking for. There was no way in hell you were going to ever mistake, you know, your objective intention for a knife or a fork. That was just never going to happen. say. So let's move away from what I wanted. Let's look what we actually got. Essentially, we got Abigail Williams' The Revenge, which it's an interesting idea, but the limitations that you get placed under as Ronin, yeah, just doesn't make any very sense. And that ending was just pitiful. You both get a brief flashback of each other's deaths, and then Abigail accidentally kills herself. Well, not even kills. I don't know what she actually did. That's the point. Because that sort of thing has no weight or threat to it ever introduced throughout the entire course of the game, because the combat such as it is so bland and repetitive, you don't get the impression she's got her just desserts or whatever. It's just sort of, and now she's not there. And that's that. It is very much a case of the gameplay massively letting down what is already, to be quite frank, kind of a weak story. It had potential to be more interesting. I think, again, if you were going to do the whole ghost girl thing, you would have been better off playing as one of the mediums. That would have been... Actually, that would have been a much better story. I mean, I'll say, Ronin is an absolute douchebag, and he can't really actually do anything because of being a ghost and the limitations they put on him as such. I mean, again, it would be more interesting if you could actually... If you could influence the world a bit more. If you could do like Abigail does, possess people and make them do your bidding. Even if it was only for a short time. Which will make things so more interesting. I mean, can you imagine, like, possessing, a little crime boss's lackey and having to con your way into their little hideout, using information you've discovered from various sources around town and things you overheard in ghost form. To work your way into their inner sanctum without getting, your meat suit's ass shot. Would make things so more interesting. Like I say, could even had the angle towards the end of the crime boss figuring out what was going on and employing, someone well versed in the occult to give him ways to hurt you or at least drive you away. Then some big final showdown where you... So I'm thinking literally like Patrick Swayze's Ghost. You basically torture the guy until he ends up killing himself by accident. Or perhaps you can get the chance to do it physically. You can use your powers to sling a desk at him or something and knock him out of a window, the same way you were killed. That would be good, I would have thought rather, but that just isn't what we got. What we got instead was floating around, finding exactly the right 3 clues the game told us we needed to be allowed to progress, clicking on them, and that was kind of that. I don't know. I think because the game, especially as I say, like the quote-unquote stealth combat sections are so boring, it takes away from other aspects like the collecting. You want to rush from story point to story point, hoping that something interesting will finally happen. And to be quite frank, it becomes pretty clearly by the halfway point that nothing really is going to happen. You're not really going to do any proper investigating. You're just going to move from cutscene to cutscene, and occasionally click the X button on 3 clues. That's all you're really going to do. Which this had a lot of potential. I'm really disappointed by how poor a show it turned out to be, if I'm honest with you. Right, so this is it for now. I honestly don't know what I'm going to do LP-wise after this. I really haven't a clue. I'll have to sort of look over my available games and such. I did briefly consider, because I finally got Wind Waker running properly through Dolphin. I did briefly consider doing that, even despite the whole Nintendo thing. But for some reason, though I don't get frame drops anymore when recording, I do get noticeable slowdown, which obviously affects my ability to play the game. It would require a lot of audio resyncing and editing to try and do right, or just plain old scrubbing audio entirely and doing commentary afterward, which adds, anywhere up to an extra hour of work for me. So I don't know. I'll see what I can come up with. Shouldn't be that much of an issue. But yeah, thank you all for watching anyway. Hope you haven't mind my whining towards the end here. And I do hope you've enjoyed yourselves, even if, let's say, towards the end I have not. Yeah. Thank you all for watching. And I'll see you in whatever comes next. Bye-bye now, folks. Bye-bye.